Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to my free training about my 91K strategy that I utilized with somebody that I worked with last year for Black Friday. And just from socials alone, in my brain, my strategy, my work ethic, everything, I was able to help this client gain $91,000 just from socials alone. She made much more, but I'm able to take credit for a 91K that came from social media. So I'm super excited to be able to just kind of just share this strategy, share a bit of my thought process when it came to that with founders, anybody who's watching this. You can utilize this not solely just for Black Friday, but for anytime you have a campaign or anytime you are having some sort of launch. This is, something that can be implemented for all of those aspects. So let's just jump right into it. I don't want to take up too much of your time. So I have my iPad here. So if you see me looking down, it's because I'm like referencing back my notes and everything. So let's just go back. Let's just start from the beginning. So with strategy, I feel like a lot of people, a lot of founders, they just want to get out there and just start posting on social media. Don't really have a game plan, don't really have a blueprint to follow, and that's where you guys mess up at all the time. Like, you cannot just go out on social media and say, oh, I'm gonna willy-nilly this and hopefully make some money from it. No, if you have a goal of making money from it, you have to be very strategic when it comes to it. You cannot you can't even try to follow somebody else's like recipe to be able to get the same results. Social media strategy is not cookie cutter. This strategy or my thought process and what I'm sharing is literally just me sharing what worked for this client. And just the full disclaimer too, is not a client that I gained by myself. I was working with an agency, so that's why I said like she made a lot more money, and due to privacy reasons I cannot state the client's name, but but a lot more money was made. There was a whole team behind us, but social media in itself, like I said, kind of brought in a good bit of that. So yeah, back to the strategy. So with your strategy, you have to literally take your time and build that out. Like, you have to sit there and like really think about what it is that you are wanting to do with your socials. Like, it's all goal based. It's a whole roadmap. It's a whole thing. We're going to dive into that. But as you're listening to this video and as you're learning and taking notes, I want you to kind of just start thinking about your own strategy. And if you're unable to create your own strategy, if you're unable to figure out like what's really going to work for your audience, let's chat. I do offer one-on-one sessions with founders just like you who necessarily don't have an entire team but still want to know how they can, make money in their business. It's not just social media based. I do, kind of dibble dabble identify as a marketing strategist as a whole, because I understand marketing goes far beyond social media and I know how to make all those pieces fit together and work the way that it needs to work. So just keep that in the back of your mind as you're listening to this, so you can kind of start building out your own strategy. And again, if you are struggling with even trying to build out your own strategy for a campaign that you're launching or something, let me know. Let's chat. Let's talk. I would love to be able to, help you in any capacity that I can. So starting first, let's start with the story. Let's kind of start with the backing of everything. So again, like I said, I'm working with a marketing agency, and I'm just like the social media manager and strategist for a certain client. And so the client came and she said that she had a goal of $300,000. I was like, what? That's the first I have ever heard of that, because I'm like, there's no way. Like, I always heard people, or like, you would see those ads of people saying like, oh, I've made $500,000 in just one campaign. And I would always think like, that's fake. Like, there's no way that you're actually doing this. Like, how is that possible? I was proved wrong. It requires a lot of hard work. It requires a lot of dedication and a lot of understanding. So the client in itself, she is a service-based, she runs a service-based business. And so for her Black Friday sale, mind you, Black Friday's in November. We started this campaign in October. So that's really like 2 months, 60 days. So the first thing that we had to do was really figure out what her goal was. Which was, well, not her goal, but necessarily like, how does she intend to make this money in 60 days? Like, even if my other teammates knew, like, I needed better understanding so that I can kind of get the full scope of everything as I'm starting to build out the strategy. Like, I needed to know what her offer was. I needed personally to understand her business inside and out. Like, I needed to understand the mechanics of everything. And that's something that you as a founder yourself needs to know. You need to understand your business inside and out. You cannot expect to make this type of money if you're still confused as to what you're offering and how you can service your clients. So you need to be 100% in knowing what it is that you are offering, how you serve your clients, and what are they going to buy from you. And so with this client, her main thing would have been was like selling discounted her packages. She had her main thing, she had three main offers, and she was selling those packages at a discounted price so that, you know, people can actually see the Black Friday of everything. And so the challenge in what I saw was going to be happening when it comes to the social media strategy was that it was going to be a change of content as to what her audience was generally used to. Her audience was kind of more so used to like the relatable type of content. You know, she's dropping out a couple gems here and there, but it's not like anything 100% across the board. So the type of content that we were going to be recording, it was going to be different for her audience because it's like they're not used to seeing this, but we know that that's going to be what's going to make the offer stick and what's going to actually provide value to her audience to actually make them want to buy into what it is that she has. So focus on how you can provide value to your clients or provide value to your audience so that it's easier for them to buy in. And so with all this information, knowing, you know, what it is that she offers, understanding her business inside and out, like even like I literally was going to her website, like off the clock. I'm going to her website, like I'm doing a deep dive. I'm looking at YouTube, like I'm trying to find out as much information as I can about this client so that I can really fully build out that strategy as a whole. And so my job at the end of the day was to build a strategy that was going to turn her content into conversions fast. Emphasis on the fast. Remember, we only had 60 days to reach this 6-figure goal. And so it's like, okay, let's figure out what will we have to do and get a game plan going. So I kind of just dived into this though. So once, you know, we established the goals and everything, it was time to get down to business. So step 1 would be the foundation. I had to, again, understand her business, which is what I did. I was doing what I had to do to understand her business inside and out. I audited her, that's a hard word to say. I audited her socials. It was also kind of hard too because she kind of like cleared her whole page, and I was like, oh, we should not have done that. But you know, it's cool. There were like other pages, and I can kind of see what type of content was being posted before. And so I had to audit her page, and then from there I was able to strategize it. And so again, like I said, understanding her business models, her goals, and her audience behavior, I was able to, you know, kind of look at, and even have in conversation. You have to be open and honest and have those conversations with yourself, because this is, you know, speaking with you. But you know, if we were working together, like we would have like a deep conversation to try to figure out what exactly is going on in your business, so that if there's any type of confusion, we're going to nip that, because your audience cannot be confused if you're confused. And then I also looked at other people in her niche. Not necessarily, even if it's not her niche, people who are similar to what it is that she is, you know, trying to offer, or how she wants to show up online, which was kind of basically to present herself in a more authoritative role. Like previously, you know, like since she was posting like a lot of relatable content and, you know, content, like she still, first of all, she already had over 100,000 followers. So it's like she built her following, but sometimes you just need a little bit of help, and you know, that's okay. And that's where, you know, agencies and stuff can come in and help you with that. But to pretty much just kind of see, like, now that she has that following, like now it's time to position her to a different level. And so that's kind of like the competitor analysis that that I basically built it off of. And so, you know, going to competitor analysis, with that, all you're doing, like I said, you're just looking for people who is in your niche. People who's in your niche, or doing type of content, showing up the way that you want to show up, and you're going to analyze them. A lot of strategy in the beginning is a lot of analyzing. Like you have to, I'm figuring out, I'm figuring out, okay, what made this piece of content work as opposed to this one. So it's a lot of like comparison analysis, a lot of, just really figuring out what's happening. My dogs, I'm sorry. And so a Black Friday strategy, again, this strategy will be used anytime, but Black Friday strategy, a launch strategy, is more about just posting more, is actually posting intentionally. Like I said, we're not just posting just to post. We're not just showing up just to show up. Like there has to be a reason as to why you're doing what you're doing in order to get the results that you want to get. So after I had the foundation laid, I, built out pretty much a solid strategy based off of the understanding that I know about her business and, how to get her goals and everything. Now it's time to map it out. This is a very critical part. This is something that I do more often than not, which is with my VIP content days, which is the mapping it out stage. So I'm bringing the strategy to life. I'm bringing the strategy and coming up with the content ideas. I'm sorry, with the with the content ideas, and pretty much trying to figure. Okay, and so with the mapping it out, we're bringing the entire strategy and putting it into pieces of content. And it's important to have content pillars that you want to go based off of. And the way how I do it is really solely off of the goals. So we're going to pick your top 3 goals, and then we're going to break that down into each content pillar. So that way, that's already giving you 30 pieces of content right there if you just do one per pillar. But if you want to do 2 per pillar, boom, now you have 60 days of content. And so the strategy with this as well for her is kind of showing up aggressively. We showed up very aggressively. We showed up for 60 days straight, twice a day. Her audience was going to know who she was and how oh my gosh. Yeah, her audience was going to know that she was there one way or another. And so the trick with mapping out that many pieces of content, posting that frequently, you have to create some sort of posting rhythm. That's the only way to make it easier so you're not overwhelmed. Because I'm pretty sure when I said 120 pieces of content that we recorded, you're probably like, what? No, there's a method to that madness. You just have to create your own posting rhythm, and then from there you can it'll help make it easier to be able to post. And so each piece of content will serve a purpose. They will serve a purpose. Again, we're not just posting just to post. And so we broke it down into different pillars. And so I'll just give an example. So there's many different pillars you can do, but let's just do an educational, trendy, and like a promotional one. And so with educational, that's adding that value and it's building that trust. With trendy, it's going to help extend your reach and help get your content in front of new eyes. And then with promotional stuff, that's like a direct call to action of like, hey, this is what's going on. This is what I need you to do. And so you just have to show up strategically. That's it, and that's all. Like there's nothing super crazy about it. Like that's just how you have to show up. Okay, and so now that everything is mapped out, we already have the strategy, we have everything mapped out, and now it's time to actually record the content. Like I said, 120 pieces of content, and that was a mix between videos, pictures, and graphics. So you're not sitting in front of the camera doing 120 different videos. No, stuff is, mixed and intertwined when it comes down to that. And so the key when it comes to the content creation and building out that content calendar and actually getting into posting is each caption needed to have a call to action. Because if you're not telling your audience what to do, they're not going to do it. A person could have scrolled past her video and was like, oh my gosh, this is exactly what I need for my business. And then read the caption and then could have just kept moving because it's not telling her to do anything. However, if somebody would come across that video and seen it, and then the caption is like, hey, do you want to be a part of this? Or hey, I have this coming up. Here's how you join that. They're going to be like, oh, of course I want to be a part of that. Let me go ahead and do what I got to do to get in the room. So you have to give them clear direction as to where you want them to go. Consistency and clarity is how you're going to get conversions. You have to show up consistently. Consistency is what you define, whether it be 3 times a week, 4 times a week, 5 times a week, however it looks for you. Consistency needs to be the key of everything, and clarity. We talked about this in the beginning. Clarity. You have to be clear on what it is that you offer, who it is that you're helping, and how you can help them. You have to be clear on all of those things, because if you're not clear, they don't know that they need you. So make sure all of that, because that's how all of those things together is going to create conversions for you. And so this new content rhythm, this is how you're going to get new followers engaged. This is how you're going to make them want to stay and be around for a while, because hey, I want to be a part of this, and I see that they're actually showing up for their socials. I see that they're actually showing up for their audience, and I want to be a part of that audience. So yes, of course I'm going to follow you and learn more about what it is that you have to offer and things about this niche. And so I did put some tools down here too that I did use during the content creation aspect, or just like the whole preparing to do everything. ManyChat. Do not sleep on ManyChat, because it makes it a lot easier. So just like with the clear call to action of telling them what to do, make it easy for them. I have a friend who says, make it easy for God to bless you. Make it easy for them. Make it easy for them to book you. Make it easy for them to buy from you. Instead of them having to go all the way out, like they'll see your page, they'll see the video, then they gotta go to your page, and now they gotta hit a link, and now they gotta search for it. No. Tell them to comment down one word, and then ManyChat's gonna send them a link automatically in their DMs. Like they're going to comment that keyword, and by the time they hit enter, within 3 seconds, they're going to see that notification at the top of their screen that they got a DM. All they got to do is hit that, boom, hit the link. There you go. Make it easy for them, because audiences, they got to treat them like toddlers. They will get distracted and not get to where they need to get for real. Google Sheets for building out a calendar. I love it. I love it. Just kind of mapping everything out with the captions and stuff. I love it. Truly, just like literally, I think I want to say there's probably a template for that. I just haven't found it. I just make my like actual own like calendar template in Google Sheets. And then Metricool, I got introduced to Metricool about a year, about a year and a half ago now. And it's a game changer, especially if you're posting to multiple platforms. It allows you to post to Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, Twitter, anywhere that needs to be posted. It allows you to do all of that in just one click. And the way how it's like mapped out or laid out, it's a lot easier to kind of see everything. Like it's you just got to go in and check it for yourself. We're not going to dive into that, but I really love Metricool. I am a complete advocate for Metricool. It just makes stuff a whole lot easier. Okay, and so now that we have everything created and everything, going back to that consistency, now it's time to execute. You have to stay consistent, you have to stay strategic, and you have to stay visible. Again, your audience needs to know that you're there and that you're offering something to them, because if they don't know what to buy. So remember how I did say in the beginning too, like there was a whole other team, behind, or like we're all working alongside each other. We were a team. And so I just handled the socials. But like I said, marketing goes beyond just social media. You have emails, you have ads, you have text messages. Like there's so many different aspects to everything. Like you just have to make sure everything aligns. And so that's something too that I realized was, so yeah, everything pretty much worked together. And so it's more so of like, hey, they see it on socials, and now they're signing up for the wait list, they're signing up for the email list. And so what they saw on socials, they're getting more of an explanation of it in their emails. And then now they're seeing ads. Like there's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. But socials literally has to be the starting point. Anything that happens after that everything is up to you unless you have a team. But and so the messaging needs to be the same across all channels. because again, you don't want to cause confusion. So what you're saying on socials need to be said in emails, needs to be said in such and such place. You have to keep reminding them. You have to stay visible. You have to stay on them, because you may feel like you're being a nuance to them, and you're like, oh, I don't want to show up this much because, oh, they're going to get annoyed by me. Do you want them to be annoyed, or do you want to make money? Let's ask yourself that. Do you want to be annoyed, or do you want to make money? Because you can't say, oh, I want to make X amount of money, and you're afraid to show up. It doesn't work like that. So you have to show up where the people are. So yeah. Sorry, I got a little aggressive there. But yeah, that's pretty much the basis of it. Like it's a whole, you have to want it as bad as the next person in order to make that. And so the results, like I said, just from socials alone, we were able to attribute $91,000 to a 6-figure campaign within 60 days. Utilizing all of these different tools, utilizing all of these, different things, but we were able to get that for her. It also, it boosts her engagement, boosts website traffic, and then also their long-term visibility. That's something too that you want. After a campaign is done, or after something is done, you don't just want to go tuck, hush, hush because you made all that money. No. If you made it one time, you can double it the next time. So why are you going to hide? Why are you hiding from your audience? You have to still show up. So you just have to make sure everything works, spooky. And so just some key takeaways, as we're kind of like wrapping up, just some key takeaways. When it comes to campaign planning and launch planning, or even Black Friday planning, granted we're in November already, I probably should have been recorded this for you guys. But it's best to start early, at least 45 to 60 days out. There's no such thing, in my opinion, I feel like there's no such thing as too early when it comes to campaign planning or launch planning or any type of strategic plan. Like it's never too early, because the more that you know, the better you can prepare yourself. If you want to hire a photographer, if you want to hire such and such, like it allows you that space, it allows you that wiggle room to be able to do all of those things. Batch create your content. That's the only way that it's going to be successful, because you're not going to want to record content every single day. No, I feel like nobody wants to. Well, I'm not going to say nobody wants to, but I mean, honestly, yeah, I feel like nobody wants to, because a lot of even like influencers, they're posting content every day, but I guarantee you it's not content that they took every single day. Like this is probably content from 2 weeks ago that they just sitting on because they don't feel like creating, and that's okay. But if you want to have a successful campaign, it's best to batch create that content. Using clear call to actions. I cannot stress this enough. Like I said, you have to tell your audience what you want them to do and where you want them to go. Because if they don't know where to go, you just missed out on some money. Like they have to know. They have to understand where it is that you're wanting them to go, to be able, they want to spend money. People want to spend money with you. You just have to tell them where they have to go to spend that money. And that's it. That's bottom line. You just have to tell them where to go to spend that money. And so if you're not telling them where to go to spend that money, they ain't gonna spend that money. And now look, you don't got your Chipotle money. And I love my Chipotle, so I need my Chipotle money. So you have to show up. You have to not show up. You have to tell them where it is that you want them to go. And then lastly, I just talked about this, not ghosting your audience after, that campaign, after Black Friday, after everything, because now that they're there, you've already prepped and primed them up all the way up until this moment. Black Friday comes and goes, and I was like, what am I here for? Like, what's next? Like, I want to be prepped and primed. I want to, whatever, what else are you dropping? Like, I want to spend more money with you. Don't lose that momentum. You have to keep posting. You have to keep showing up after that. And let the success of that campaign, let the success of that launch of Black Friday give you that extra thrill of like, hey, like I want to keep doing this. I can keep doing this, and I need to figure out how to keep doing this. So don't ghost them at all. And so just like some last sentiments, Strategy drives sales, not just content. You have to be so strategic about how you're showing up. You cannot, again, just to post thinking that you're going to make $50,000. It's not going to happen. Like, you have to be very strategic about it, because audiences, they're everything is psychological. Just being real, everything is psychological, and you have to understand how to work their brain. You have to understand how to speak their language to understand, okay, like, how am I about to make this money? How am I going to make them spend money? So you have to be strategically driven. And so the content is you're using your content to warm your audience early. You're creating aligned messages. We spoke about this, aligned messages across emails and socials and wherever else. And then you're building that anticipation before the sale even starts. So before you even announce that you're doing a Black Friday sale, or if you're having this, like, start showing up consistently. I am to the point where I can tell when somebody's about to drop something. Like, I kind of start to notice, a shift in their content and how they're showing up. And I can look at it and I'm like, oh, they're dropping something. I don't know what it is, but they're about to drop something. Granted, I don't think everybody thinks like that, or I don't know. But I know that's how I look at it. And that's how I kind of like teach my brain and train my brain. But for sure, like, you need to be priming them long before the sale even starts. So that way, by the time Black Friday comes, again, people want to spend money. They want to spend money. By the time Black Friday comes, they're already ready to buy. Like, as soon as that website opens, they already got stuff in your cart. You getting dings, 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 because people want to buy. People want to spend money. Your content is not just for engagement. It's literally just, it's a pre-sale tool. Like, this is you creating that space, or creating that anticipation, creating that relationship virtually online with them, to say, hey, I want to be your friend. I want you to like me, so that when I drop something, you go ahead and buy. Think of it that way. It sounds bad, but you have to be able to build your audience up, so where my dogs, sorry. So that way, whenever you drop what it is that you're selling, they're ready to purchase. Okay. And so that's pretty much it, y'all. Like, that's the recipe. That is nothing too crazy. Like, you don't need to have a high production, like, you don't need all of that. You literally just need strategy. That is it. And so, like I told you guys in the beginning, that the strategy is not literally just Black Friday specific. This is for if you are about to launch a business, if you're about to relaunch your business, if you're about to drop a new item, if you're about to do such as that. This strategy can be used for all of that, because Black Friday in itself, that's a campaign. That's some type of launch, but this can be used for any of that. And so if you want to be able to get better results when it comes down to your sales, to your launches, to your campaigns, to just your business in general, and you need help and you don't know where to start, come talk to me. I am in the DFW area, and I do offer one-on-one strategy sessions, pretty much kind of like helping you rebrand all around. And then I also offer VIP content days, which is where I build out your strategy and your content, and then I'm going to come to you. We're going to work together, and we're going to batch create their content. I have knocked out 8 weeks worth of content within an hour. So I come in with a plan. We not just playing around. I come in with the plan. We're going to record, and boom. So if you want to learn more about any more of those services, definitely just shoot me over an email. It's the email that you guys got this from, Deanna@cohousemedia.com. That is my agency. I'm a social first marketing agency, just helping founders be able to show up online and gain the money that they need to gain, because hey, we all have to live out here in these streets, especially in this economy. But yeah, so again, thank you guys so much for listening for this training, being interested in this training, and I am wishing you much success when it comes down to your business, when it comes to your Black Friday weekend, when it comes down to your campaign, any of that. I'm super excited for you guys, and like I said, if you need any help, I am here for you. We can definitely get something on the books for you, and I want to be able to help as best as possible. So stick around too, If you don't follow me already, follow me, because I have myself have a Black Friday drop that I'm super excited about. So yeah, so I will see you guys next time. I will see you guys on socials. You know, just holla at me if you need me. All right, I think that's it. Bye.